We're live.
Buonasera and welcome to the nightly edition of Spaghetti and Baseballs, brought to you by the Italian American Foundation. I am your co-host, Natalie Spitaleri, alongside my better half and co-hosting, Chris Colabello.
Woo! What's up, Nat?
What's going on?
It's been a while, man. We haven't been on the show. I even came up with a sick little turnaround there. I don't know how that came up.
I love it. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been about a month. We were off-site in secret locations. And we're back.
Yeah, I think we got July. That's what I'm going to call it. Because I feel like now that I'm getting older and I'm technically not playing baseball, not that anybody really was for a while, but I feel like July was like my busiest month at work, right? July is the dog days of summer. And now that I'm kind of outside that world, I realize nobody does anything in July other than just hang out and go to the beach. So you can't get anything done in July.
That's pretty much it. I mean, it's been nice. But since it's been a while, let's talk about what we're doing. So Spaghetti and Baseballs is brought to you by the IABF. And let's remind people what we do. So we promote and develop baseball and softball in the U.S. and Italy by doing clinics, showcases. We provide documentation to become citizens to play for the Italian baseball team. And we provide equipment by donating baseballs, uniforms, and everything. So we have amazing supporters. Chris is a big part of it. So we just make sure you follow us. Link down here. And wanted to let you know of our first tournament that we're sponsoring coming up at the end of July for the Van Ness Little League in the Bronx, called Back on the Field Classic. So if anyone's around later this month, July 31st through August 2nd, come check us out. Cheer us on. We might not be able to go to the stadiums quite yet, but these kids would love to have you in the stands. So follow us to get more information.
A lot of big developments since our last episode. Number one, let's put this out there. I cut my hair, which
is big. No more man bun. That had to go.
The thing about it is, it's just I recognize how ridiculous it is that I try to grow it out, because I have Italian, the puffy. If people saw me wake up in the morning, they'd be like, "What are you thinking?" And it just takes me some time to get over it. Number two, speaking of Italy, and because we are the Italian American Baseball Foundation, baseball's back in Italy. They're playing. They're live 2 weeks in a row now. Serie Uno has begun. My guys over there with guys that I played on the national team with are all back at it. So that was exciting to see. And we're close to the return of Major League Baseball, too, which is kind of nuts.
It's awesome. Tomorrow, finally. Yeah. We start tomorrow. So speaking of starting and talking about our supporters, we have amazing ambassadors with IBF, including our past guest, John Franco, Frank Helinato, and including our upcoming guest. So, Chris, take it away.
We have another duo. We are leading the free world in appearances by duos within our first 5 shows. So we're the number 1 rated podcast, webcast, whatever you want to call us, that has a combination of guests in their first 5 shows. We just broke that Guinness Book of World Records, I think. Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
we can apply for it. If we, it's got to be true. Whatever. So. Another father-son duo today, which is awesome. I've had the pleasure of getting to know both these guys through both IABF on the field and just as regular paisans. I was actually in the house probably about 3 or 4 months ago, right before COVID started. So we're going to go with youth before wisdom is what I like to call it. So the younger, otherwise known as LJ, we're going to stick with LJ, grew up in Greenwich. Family is from New York, but I'm the only non-New Yorker on the podcast, I feel like, every week, which is cool. Okay. Graduated, went to the University of Connecticut, drafted by the Twins as a junior, didn't sign. Then was drafted by the Mets as a senior, and I don't blame him for not signing because he went back and hit 354 his senior year at UConn. Became teammates with a ton of my good friends. We have a ton of mutual connections. We had the pleasure of playing against each other last year. A wonderful hitter, and probably an even better infielder, if I had to say. But I really like the way LJ plays. LJ Mazzilli, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks.
Hey, LJ.
Thank you for that.
Somebody's clapping for you, and I mean it's me. So at least you had one.
We're clapping at home.
Yeah, and you know what? Natalie was clapping in her brain and her heart. So
Yeah.
Zing! There we go.
Now, I don't know if I can. I'm going to offend one of you when I say this. So I'm going to say your better half and your father, just because I know him. I'm a little bit more scared of him than I am of you.
Yeah, and I am too.
So that's what I'm going with here. That's my whole motif for the day.
Okay.
Went to Abraham Lincoln High School in New York. Switch hitter, drafted by the Mets in the first round in 1973. Made his big league debut on September 7th, 1976. Played with 5 organizations: the Mets, Rangers, Yankees, Pirates, and Blue Jays. He was an All-Star in 1979. In 1978, this is my favorite part of the show when I name off ridiculous stats. He ranked first in the National League in double plays turned by a center fielder, which is sick, with 3. Like, that's a really cool stat. In 1979, he was 8th in the National League in base out wins. I think I used that on somebody else a few weeks ago. I still don't know what a base out win is. When he was in the Cal League, he had 7 stolen bases in a game, which is kind of nasty. Natalie, I know there's other things. We're going to put this in the intro. He then eventually managed the Orioles in 2004 and 2005, but nobody really cares about that because we want to talk about these 2 things.
A speed skater? An 8-time championship of speed skating? What?
Which is epic. Like, that's legendary.
So epic. That was his passion.
Yeah.
And then a lead actor in Tony and Tina's wedding. We need to talk about that later.
I don't think there's a better baseball resume on the planet because of those 2 things. So let's welcome Yankees legend, Mets legend, Lee Mazzilli. Lee, good to have you, man.
Hey. Hi, Nat. It's good to be here. Hey, big guy. What's up?
Hey, what's up, Dad?
Hey, the first thing I have to ask you is, did you know that you led the National League in double plays turned by a center fielder in 1978?
No.
Well, you do now. So
thanks, buddy. I'd like to have other stats, but that's okay.
Yeah, well,
That's cool.
Here's the thing, right? Like, and I'm going to tell you this honestly.
Yeah.
Whenever your name comes up, like, I get to talk about a lot of the Italian guys that I get to hang out with, and Johnny Franco, Mapp, all the guys that we've had on the show, like Girardi. Anytime your name comes up, people do like, oh man, Lee Mazzilli. Whoa.
I don't know. Is that a compliment?
Yes, it is. Like, everybody knows you as a player, first of all. And second of all, like, I hear stories to this day that you are one of the most respected men that walks around Yankees camp on a day-to-day basis. So
thank you. That means a lot to me. That means more to me than anything in the world. And my son is here, and he will tell you the one thing that I'm constantly on him about, just in general, is be respectful, and that's the greatest compliment you can get from someone. So thank you, God. I appreciate it.
You got that from me, my friend. I even wore my Reek 2-pack shirt for you.
I have something for you, Chris. So and Nat, you'll appreciate this. You know how everyone's doing Zoom and all this right now during these times, and if you speak to celebrities or whoever, they have all their Emmys in the back. You see, they have their Emmys, they have their trophies, they have, everything they want to show up. But for me tonight, Chris, this is for you. Look, check it out.
Can't wait. Oh, baby.
Oh, no Emmys, no trophies, but Marlon Brando.
That says enough right there.
Okay, so we're gonna put Marlon in tonight.
Yeah.
He's gonna speak. Let me see which way I have to go.
Yeah.
And he's gonna stay over our shoulder tonight. How's that?
It's tricky. I try to figure it out. Like,
it's confusing to see which way you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the opposite way. So
there you go. Perfect.
LJ, what do you
do, buddy?
Thank you. I appreciate it. It means a lot. LJ, what do you have in the background? What's behind you?
I got my senior day jersey, and I presented this on senior day.
So I have to talk to you a little bit about
this. Let's go Huskies.
Yeah. It's funny because you played at UConn. I feel like I know every guy that went to UConn, and you and Olt were the last 2 people of that group. Like, I met Ahmed, I met Fatsy, Springer, like all the guys that were there, Barnes. I knew all of them. And your name and Mike Olt's name would come up, and I'd be like, I didn't really get to hang with those guys. And I feel like, honestly, now that I've gotten to know you, and you guys have a special connection to Mike Olt, right? Like, I mean, LJ, like, how is that?
LJ, tell him, LJ.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I mean, right now he's dating my twin sister, and we feel like he's part of the family. He's taking over. He's like the family clown now.
All right.
He's the big jokester. Everyone loves him.
We all love him.
It's pretty special that I got to know Mike my freshman year of college. He was a junior, and he was the big man on campus. He was the guy, and I really looked up to him. And he took me under his wing as a freshman. I was like contributing as a freshman, so he was making sure that I was staying focused and doing the right things because it's easy to lose focus. And now when I look down the road, it was like a 5-year span where we lost touch during pro baseball. And, we reconnected in the weirdest way in Binghamton, New York. When we were both playing in AA, we both didn't really want to be where we were, but we were there for each other. And every time we were playing against each other, we would make it a point to play golf and go to dinner and, kind of just talk each other through things and be there. And one night, he came out to, I know it's a long story, but he came out to dinner with us and the family. And, that's where Lacey and Mike started talking.
Story, by the way, I've heard it.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it was our birthday, I think. And we went out afterwards. I think at the end of the night, Lacey asked me for Mike's number. She wanted to text Mike. And I was like, yeah, sure. So I gave her the number that I had in my phone. And she texted him. And, the next day we played and we went to dinner again. And he came to dinner and Lacey, it was, acting a little tense at dinner. And we were kind of confused why. And, after dinner, she went up to Mike and she's like, why didn't you answer my text?
Yes, I knew that's where this is going.
Excuse me, why didn't you answer my text? Do you not think that I'm worthy of answering? And Mike was like, well, what are you talking about? I don't have any texts. I mean, I don't see anything. You see anything? And, he was getting all blushed out, and it was because I gave the wrong phone number, obviously. And Lacey was texting him thinking that he was blowing her off. So the whole time he thought he was in good graces, but Lacey really wanted to kill him.
So I've heard the similar story, Mike. I think Mike's version is a little bit more like trying to make himself sound suave.
Yeah.
Lee, the one thing he did tell me, and I don't know if you know this about yourself, you are like a really imposing figure. And I mean that in like the most respectful way. Like the first time I got to meet you, I was honored and a little bit scared because like you're a strong personality. Mike, do you remember that interaction with Mike first night? Was how did you feel?
Mike and I, we go back when I went up to speak at UConn. This was before LJ was even there. I did a speech at, I think, what was their annual dinner, whatever. But that's where we first met. Looking back now, it's just how it just all worked out. It's really kind of cool. It really is. Being part of this. So, and then when LJ played with him, and I don't know if you know this or not, but the team that they had, which is just. It's really hard to fathom in the Northeast. That UConn team had just now. You had Michael playing third base. This is all on the same team now.
Yeah, for sure. I remember
Michael playing third base. You had Nick Ahmed playing shortstop. You had some kid named George Springer playing center field.
Yep.
Right on the mound, you had. What do we have on the mound? But two. Matt Barnes. And Scott Olberg.
Yep.
And who else we missing? Oh, it was the 6 guys.
John Andrioli.
John Andrioli that went to the
Central Mass guy right there.
Yeah. So, I mean, just to think of all those guys on one team playing in the big leagues, I mean, that's just a tribute to UConn baseball. I think that's kind of neat. I really do.
I had so much respect for those teams. And LJ, obviously, you had a really, really great career. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But as being a Northeast guy, like UConn was such – I mean, I revered that program and obviously have a ton of respect for the Penders and what they've built. And I've built friendships with almost all the guys you just mentioned. Pete Fatsi, who's now the assistant hitting coach for the Red Sox, a good friend of mine. And I definitely respect everything that went on there. So this will actually, I think, kind of kick us off. So LJ, tell me a little bit about, your background and how you ended up at UConn. And, I know you were a multi-sport athlete, but was baseball always kind of in the cards for you?
Yeah. from an early age, I took to football early on. I played quarterback and was pretty good. I loved running around.
You were the smallest guy on the team in football. He couldn't even see over the linemen. The linemen were all, like, he had to go like that. Tell them the truth. Yeah, tell them the truth.
I was like Pablo Sanchez in backyard baseball. So, I loved all sports, and then baseball I realized was probably my best shot. And I was also naturally, better at baseball than the other sports. So I took to it naturally. And, I think when I went to IMG in Florida and then also played in Team Connecticut in the summer, I realized, that I was ready to play Team 1. And I was getting looked at by some Northeast schools and some other schools around the area. And I was playing with, at the time, George Springer and Matt Barnes on Team Connecticut baseball, which was, the AAU team in Connecticut. And I just knew, I also knew Michael was a freshman there and playing short, doing well. And I knew who was going there between Springer and Barnes and a couple other friends that I had going there. I just knew what was going to be good. So when it came down to decision making, my dad asked me, do you want to go to the school and be a part of something? Or do you want to go to a school that has already have things to be a part of? So, be a part of change with Northeast baseball and Connecticut baseball. And that was an easy decision because I really did see the potential there and I wanted to be a part of it. And Coach Penders and Coach Blood at the time were really great in the recruiting process.
That's awesome. And I mean, honestly, I think it was a great decision for you. And then obviously you went on to get drafted out of there. So that I think things worked out. You got a great career at UConn. Obviously, kudos to you for that. Lee, I'm kind of the same question for me. And the only doubt I have about this whole thing is from what I understand is like you were like switch hitting was a very, very natural thing for you. And LJ, I've never seen you hit left-handed. I've played against you. I know you just only hit righty. So like, did you try it at all or no?
I do want to say something. We got a message, I think, from a Jenna, someone's sister. You went to follow her.
Yeah.
Tell her the truth.
That's true, Jenna. I went to follow you, Jenna. I got you.
It's kind of cool. I had all three of them go to UConn, which is great. So I had all my spies out. I made sure that everyone watched and knew who they were. And when you have kids, you'll figure that out and do the same thing I was doing.
My sister went to UConn. My cousins went to UConn. I'm an honorary Husky. I'm one of Huskies to act.
I'm envious of anybody that was a Husky. So, I mean, I got that going for me. I went to Assumption College. Who does that? That was stupid.
Well, I went to Mattonville College. So.
It worked out. So, LJ, the switch hitting thing, did you ever try it?
Yeah, I actually switch hit all the way up until freshman fall of college. I actually got recruited to UConn as a switch hitting shortstop.
Well,
that probably would have been the fun fact I should have let you know earlier.
Hey, gotta leave. I
didn't think about that.
Hold on 1 second, guys.
But my freshman fall, I hit 400 righty and 250 lefty, and I just thought as an 18-year-old I could just hit righty. And then I realized that the game was harder than I thought, and I probably should have stayed switch hitting.
It was the same thing for me.
Looking at your stats. True stud.
It was the same thing for me when I was little. I was like, oh, it's hitting left-handed stuff's easy. And my dad always used to say to me, learn how to hit one way first. And honestly, Lee, in a lot of ways, I wish you had been my dad because you would have been like, no, do both. It's easy. Yeah. So,
it's not. It's really not. Especially
it came naturally for you, though, Lee.
What's that?
It came naturally for you,
yeah,
right?
because I always did it as a youngster. So,
he's an ambidextrous.
But it's not, being ambidextrous. But boy, switch hitting is so tough, and you know this, Chris, as well. Playing in the big leagues, I mean, you're playing against the best in the world, and you have to be on the top of your game both ways, and it's tough to do. I used to talk to Pete Rose about this a lot, and Pete would always say that at that time he would take twice as many swings right-handed than he did left-handed because, there were more right-handed pitchers in the league, and you would get up 3 times a game left-handed, and then when the game was on the line, they'd always flip you around. So you always had to be in shape from the right side, and so you did. You had to do that, and back then, obviously times are different. So you didn't have the facilities now that you have that you can hit. Which is great now. I mean, guys hit so much now. And back then, you hit off one of the coaches and that was it. Maybe you took 15 swings a day, 15, 20 swings, and that's it. That's all you had. I remember when I first came up to the big leagues, we didn't even have a cage at Shea Stadium. So it's just, it's just like, you ready to play? You go play. Look different. I'm not saying it's better or worse. It's just what it was.
Yeah.
What it was.
Well, and I think there was something to be said for that. Like, and to your point, and I've played closer to obviously today's, and all the bells and whistles, analytics, cage, this, whatever you need, and there's a part of me that I turn around to guys, and I think I've kind of fit the mold of your guys' generation a little bit better, because it's like, man, like figuring out how to show up and play, it takes a special dude to be able to strap it on, go out and expect it to run out 100.
I think that it does.
We're losing him.
Lee.
Oh, hey, we got Brando in the shot though. That's important.
I kind of lost you for a second. I don't know if we lost, but I lost the last question. But what you're saying is, yes, you do have the analytics now, and you have all these things that can make you a better player now, which is great. And LJ is in the middle of that, which is great. I think if I was a player now, or even back then, I wish I had all these advantages to help you better. You want to be a better player. That's what we do. And one thing that you are, and LJ has, and everyone else that you speak to as a big league player, it's ingrained in us, that competitiveness. Mm-hmm. We have a certain DNA that's in us that people just don't have in major league players. It's just different. And, even now at my age, I still in my mind think I can compete in the big leagues. I mean, I know I can't, but I always have that competitiveness. Like now when I watch the game, I always say to myself, man, I wish I was up with that guy in second because I want to knock him in. I could hit that. I know I can't, but you will never lose that. You will always have that. Right. It's just, like I said, it's in our DNA. It's something special. And it's like, when LJ and I go play golf, he gets on me because I talk trash to him all the time. Me and him, we go at it. You know what I'm saying? Well, we're not going to lose that. We're not going to lose that.
I'm still waiting for Olt to invite me into the foursome. Like, I talk to him 3 times a week, and he's like, yeah, we got to play golf. I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I play with Lee and LJ. I was like, you need 4 guys in a foursome.
Chris, I don't know how you play. I'm sure you play well. I'm sure you can hit the ball. But these two, Olt and LJ, they're 320, 330 every time.
I've heard stories. I'm just going to say I threw up 79 yesterday with double.
There you go. So you're in there.
So, I mean,
so how many shots do I get?
Hey, but the thing is,
No. I asked you a question.
Yeah. You're sandbagging me right now. I answer
the question in front of people. How many shots do I get aside?
All right. Well, I'll give you like 3.
Keep going. We'll keep negotiating that right now.
How many do you need? All right. Well, anyway.
All right, I need to hear when this happens. I'll be the captain.
I'm doing 4, so.
Yeah. Well, we can. I gave my dad 15 yesterday, and he was.
Shots?
Yeah, and he was down 18 on number 10. So it wasn't a good day for him. Just my dad's like a left-handed pitcher.
I would really not bury your dad right now on this show.
I mean, I love him to death, but
I'm going to take your dad's side on this one. Yeah.
Well, and so Lee, I want to stick with you for a minute. Obviously, you were drafted 1973 and pretty quick turnaround to get to the big leagues. By 1976, you became pretty much a regular in the big leagues. How was it to obviously debut with a New York team and be part of a New York position having grown up?
Yeah, it's just it was overwhelming. I think at first, I just wanted to be drafted like LJ and sign a major league contract, and didn't think I was going to go number 1. I was at the 14th pick in the country, and it was like, I just want to play, So I was very fortunate, and I was fortunate because when I got to the big leagues in 1976, I played with a lot of veteran players. I had Tom Seaver, Jerry Kuzman, Crane Pull, Jerry Grody, Buddy Harrelson, and of course I had Joe Torre, who was my mentor growing up. I mean, and there he was, and it's funny. I just texted him the other day about that very first day that we met, when I came up to the big leagues, we were in Wrigley Field, and just come up. You know how it is. You get to big leagues, you're shy, quiet, and you're in awe of, like I said, Seaver, Koosman, and I went to see Joe, and the one thing he said to me is, "You stay with me," and we stood together for the next 45 years. Kind of special.
That's awesome. That's really good stuff.
Yeah. So it was kind of cool. But I had guys that really taught you the game. Like, when Seaver was on the mound pitching, he's one of the greatest pitchers of all time. So competitive. And Jerry Cook, if you didn't take a guy out at second base, they get in your face. They said, "Why didn't you take that guy out?" Things of that nature, in a good way, not in a bad way, but let you know this is how we play the game. And it was different. I mean, the rules obviously have changed a little bit to protect players now, but I learned an awful lot of good baseball at a very young age from some great players. Players.
That's awesome. I think it's a testament to you, the willingness to listen and absorb that information, because I'm sure other guys were exposed to that and then didn't necessarily.
There's my man right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
I mean, hey, LJ, do you feel like you guys look alike or no? Because I see some similarity there. I mean, I'm.
Oh yeah.
Have you?
You know what I like about that picture?
Yeah.
You know what's the best thing about that picture? It's like I weigh 175 pounds. That's the best part of that.
I think the word is lean, right? Like it's lean.
Yeah. I feel like LJ is now. Yeah, that's how LJ is now.
Right.
But we put
I like the cigar in Joe's hand.
Yeah.
What's that?
The cigar in Joe Torre's hand.
Well, that's funny you said that, and that's what I said to Joe the other day. I said when I first went to see Joe in Chicago in Wrigley Field, that's what he was sitting on a training table with a cigar in his mouth and saying, "You stick with me." And I went, it was like, what? It just resonate with you, and like I said, that relationship has just lasted for 45 years, and it's great. It's kind of great. And, don't forget now, I coached on the Joe with the Yankees as well, and then after my coaching days with him, I went on to manage. So he kind of mentored me from playing and then coaching and into managing as well. So it's
you guys
I'm lucky. I'm lucky.
Right now,
that's my wife. My lovely wife. There's your mom, Elge.
No, it's our only fans.
No, hey, don't worry.
My wife are our fans. That's it.
My mom's gonna post in about. My mom's posting in about 5 minutes. She's on too. Don't worry, guys. Our families would get along like two peas in a pod. It'd be great. LJ, kind of shift back to you for a second. Obviously, with your dad having been drafted by the Mets, and kind of like the same dynamic, you grew up, and I don't know if you grew up a Mets fan or Yankees fan. We're not going to talk about that yet. But you got drafted by the Twins first and didn't sign. But to be drafted by the Mets, one of the organizations that your dad played for, what was that moment like for you? And talk a little bit about like that New York kind of connection.
That was probably one of the top best moments of my life. That day when I got the call that the Mets were going to take me in the 4th round. It came full circle, because my entire life I grew up in, I was around baseball, and I was fortunate enough to be able to grow up in the major league clubhouses and, be one of those Rugrats and Bat Boys and all this and shagging out there. And I really took it for granted, but it's, that's all I knew at the time. And I loved every second of it. So,
but you're not done.
But that's where it comes full circle though, because it started there. It started with all the Mets memorabilia growing up, and all the stuff with Pops, and I started out for the Mets, and for it to come full circle 21 years later, and get that call with my dad, and we were both in his office when we got the call. I think that was the first time we both cried together.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. You know what the best day for me was? I mean, I've been very fortunate through my whole career, just being around so many great people. But 2 years ago, LJ and I we're in the same dugout. We're in the same uniform. We had both had the pinstripes on, and we were playing a big league game. Best day for me. To sit in the dugout, we're in the pinstripes. I think we were playing Tampa. We were playing Tampa Bay that day.
Yeah.
I think Tampa Bay, and just being in the dugout, going through our BP, hitting ground ball, just the whole pregame ceremony and stuff, and then get in the dugout, and then he was with the same uniform, and I'm sitting in the dugout. I think that was Booney's second year. So he said to LJ, "Go hit that sixth down," or whatever he went in for DJ, and I was like looking like this. I was looking, and Booney, he was looking at me like on the side, like looking at how my reaction was. And then it was just, oh no! I said, foul it off, and then I don't know who was pitching. LJ would know, and got quick 2 strikes on him, and worked the count a little bit, and then he he hit a rope up the middle for a base hit, and I went like this. I went, oh, man, I'm going to have it now. It's all right. I'm good. I'm good now.
So just a different emotion than when you were playing. And
it's worse by far. And Johnny Franco will tell you this. Johnny Franco will. And every dad that has a son playing baseball, we can't. It's so hard to watch. You can't even watch. And the reason why you'll appreciate this is that we know how hard the game is.
Sure.
It's hard to play. It's a tough game. And we know what we go through to get there. So when they're there, there's nothing we can do to help. Your dad can't help you do a thing when you're at the plate. Nor can I or anyone else. So I said to LJ a long time ago, I said, LJ, now I know how Pops felt about me, when he watched me play.
Right.
We didn't appreciate it. We didn't understand it. But it is so hard for us. You could ask Roger Clemens. We talk about I spoke to Mariano about that with his son pitching. It's just all the former players that have their kids, and they have this unfair pressure on them. You know what I'm saying? Because of their dads, and I think it's unfair. But it's just that's life, and you got to deal with it. But it's more difficult for us dads to watch by far. It's not even close.
I get the same vibe. See the difference. So in talking to Johnny Franco on the last episode, so my dad was a left-handed pitcher. So, listen, I would like to think that I probably would have listened to you a little more. I mean, you did some things with the bat at least, but it was hard when a left-handed pitcher that hit 0 was why didn't you swing at that pitch? LJ, did that, you didn't have that dynamic. So, how was that relationship with dad for you and hitter conversations? Was there retention? And pretend he's not here, by the way. I need you to think he's not in the video right now.
This is a safe place.
He comes out of his room, I'll be here. Not bad. Let's tell him the truth.
No, it's never been. It's always just been supportive. More of the mentality. Never really mechanical or suggestions. It's just he was the main things were it takes 0 talent to hustle. Be a good teammate, because once you lose the respect of your teammates, you never get it back.
Yeah.
And play the game the right way, and trust your instincts. Go out there with a plan. Those are the things that we would talk about. But in the early on stages, up until teenage years, it was just about having fun, and I think that's what made me gravitate towards trying to use this as a path in life and chase baseball, is because there was no pressure at a young age. It was just all, fun and excitement and just the love of the sport, which is created. And I think nowadays people start at a young age and they just try to get, right into business and getting it correct. And there's definitely aspects to the game that dad, he instilled at an early age, which was, just having fun, playing the game the right way and hustling and, being a good teammate. So those were basically, those are the disciplines.
It's funny you said that, because my dad, being Italian, and he was a piano tuner. That was his thing. And so he wasn't, he didn't know baseball, he didn't follow, he couldn't teach baseball to me. But my dad was at every game that I ever played in my entire life. He was in right field, left field, second base, just supporting, because not knowing the game and not able to teach me at all, just other than having fun, what LJ said. And my wife, LJ's mom, and his sisters are the same way for him. My wife, God bless her, goes everywhere to follow LJ play all the time, right? LJ and his sisters come when they can, and that's it. That's all you can do. I mean, that's it. Like I learned that from my dad, and I think LJ gets that. Thank God for my wife, because when I was away coaching and even managing in the minor leagues, I didn't take LJ to his games. I mean, I didn't take him to all those little league games and Sandlot games. I wasn't here. So, mom was the one that kind of coached him.
Mom helped a lot. She was, in the early ages, she was the one that thought my cup was a nose guard for football. I remember trying to put one on for the first football practice. My mom didn't know where it went.
Oh my God!
Hey, LJ, mom's listening. You know that, right?
Yeah. Listen,
huh?
She's gonna come in that room right now.
It's okay. It's all part of development. I'm sure my mom had her own moments too. Listening.
Hey, the moms are the backbone. They are the backbone. All baseball players.
Yeah, for
by
sure.
Far the backbone. You ask every player, they're gonna tell you. They'll all say where their moms played a role in their career.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The single greatest moment of my career, besides when we won the division series on Jose Bautista's bat flip, was I homered on my mom's birthday while she was being interviewed in Tampa, and it was epic. Like I didn't know she was being interviewed at the moment, but I remember I got to point up, and it's funny. Like I always played well on her birthday because I knew it was. I mean, we wouldn't be anywhere without our moms. Trust me.
No.
I think we all
not.
So,
Leah, for me, because my wife learned from my mom. That's my dinners. My special dinner is, and our friends will like this, is chicken cacciatore. So my last meal, that's what I'm having.
Okay.
Chicken cacciatore. And that's it.
You just ruined one of my rapid fire questions, so I'm going to have to replace that.
Oh,
now.
okay. I got another one too.
Good. So, Lee, I wanted you to expand on that point a little bit. So, you said your father was the piano repairman, right? And
yeah, piano tuner. Yeah,
piano tuner. Okay. So how did baseball become part of your family, part of your daily life?
Well, before we get into that, how did speed skating come in, and then baseball?
That too. Yeah.
Which one you want me to ask?
Both. I want both.
Okay. Well, it was just my dad's family did that back in the 40s. Let's say they used to skate at rinks and lakes. So it was a sport that you played in the wintertime or did in the winter, and baseball is what you did in the summer to stay active. And, going back, 40 years, they didn't have all the sports like lacrosse and soccer and basketball as much now. So it was just different to skate, and I loved it. I had a chance to go to the Olympics in 1972, but at that time I was just being drafted. I was drafted in '73. So you couldn't be an amateur and a professional at the same time. So you had to give up one.
Yeah.
And then, I was feeling like I didn't have a career in skating, although I wish I would have had the opportunity to go to the Olympics. And now you could be a professional and go to the Olympics. Back then you couldn't do that. So I kind of feel like I picked the right sport, but,
well, it was when you had the conflict, right, with the speed skating championship, and there was playoffs.
It was the next year of getting drafted. So they had at the U.S. Air Force Academy in Colorado they had their training center, and that's where you had to go to train. And at that time, I couldn't leave and forget about baseball, because that was the year you're getting scouted and getting drafted. Right. So that's when I stayed. And what was the question about?
How did you start playing baseball? Was it neighborhood New York thing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Johnny Franco will appreciate this if he's listening. Is schoolyard baseball. That's where we were. I played with my brother, my God rest his soul, in the schoolyard in PS 209. And in the morning, on the corner, my mom was a manicurist. That's what she did. So she worked on the corner, and she knew when the sun came up, I was in the schoolyard. And then when the sun came down, she knew I'd be home. And that was my babysitter, the schoolyard. And that's where I played all day, every day, 10 hours a day, softball, stickball, punch ball, slap ball, you name it. We played it. And that's how I learned how to play baseball. To be honest with you, that's exactly how I learned to play. I love the game, playing so much.
So LJ,
LJ didn't play stickball, punchball, slapball. No way.
but LJ, did you ever speed skate? Was that like a thing you did? Did you try that?
Speed skating?
Yeah.
No, my dad didn't leave me his wheels, man. He didn't pass it along to me.
Yeah. Well, you guys stole 7 bases in a game. According to like all like lore, that is the greatest. Nobody's ever done that other than you.
Still a record, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it's a
record.
professional record, yeah. 1975. You guys weren't even born in 1975.
All right.
All right.
So, LJ, I want to go back to you for a second. I know you were scheduled to be part of an organization this year, right? So, obviously, the way the kind of last few months in our world and country have played out, what was that like for you as a player? You're the only current player that we've had on the show. Like, how did that all play out? And like now you're sitting at home, and how do you think you can handle this moving forward, or advice to people that are dealing with the same things?
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but I think a lot of people that are in the same position as me understand that we're all in the same position together. So I think that's what's being able to get us all through it, knowing that we're not the only ones. You know, when I was out there, I had a great experience with the White Sox. I mean, they were you know, great. The whole organization just changed everything that year. Everything was new. The coaches were new. Everything was new, and it was just a great atmosphere. They had a lot of excitement going into this season. So I was glad to be a part of that. They really, you know, they were really professional, and they did things the right way. And then, you know, when the pandemic hit, everyone was caught off guard. No one knew what to do. Everyone kind of dispersed and went home. And I actually ended up staying out there amidst the pandemic. I stayed out there all the way until a month and a half ago. You know, just holding on to the dream and, you know, chasing it out there. And, you know, it was a grind, but, you know, the whole experience was good.
Good. Well, I like Dad said, I don't think
Not over.
there's too much good in that bat left, young man.
Yeah,
I got to watch it firsthand last year. And to Olt's question flashed through and we kind of ignored it. When is the golf thing going to happen? And like he threw in like the who's the better golfer. I think he was talking about you two, right? Me and you.
Instagram Live if Mike wants. I don't know.
Who's the better golfer, me or LJ, or Mike or LJ?
Yeah, no, I think he's referring to you two, but
LJ is by far.
He has his opinion. He wants you guys to elaborate.
On us or me and Mike's? Because
we can do all of it. We can include me in the circle because the foursome's getting set up, and you know what? Our next show we can just have a video recording of that, and
I liked it. We'll wear GoPros.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, there you go.
Natalie will come around with a phone and follow.
I'll drive the beer cart.
Yeah. So, Leah.
Yeah. So Mike is trying to get into your head, LJ. I think that's what he's trying to do.
Well, he's definitely trying to get in mine. I know that.
Okay.
Okay. So no, we can't ask this, Katie. I appreciate the question.
Wow.
This is my second rapid fire question. It's going to get ruined.
Oh, forget about your question. Take care of the fan.
Yeah, all right. Let's go. All right. Well, this was going to be a rapid fire question. I've elaborated more than more. All right. So, what would walkout song, LJ and Lee? I needed to know this from you. Like, did they do walkout songs?
No.
No.
I
didn't know
people were booing you when you walked up there.
All right. So we need to know, LJ, you can go give me your most recent walk-up song and what would be your choice for a walk-up song this year. And then Lee, if you had one go-to song, what would it be? Go.
I know his is going to be Frank Sinatra. That's easy.
Yeah, see, that's right. Let me give you mine. My way.
My song. Oh my god, I
My
cried.
way.
I'm like a seasonal walk-up guy. I mean, so whatever's hot, you know, like whatever the fans like, you know, you got to get people pumped up when you're walking up there. So I don't know. Last year, I think I was going with one of those Latin songs. It was really yeah, I think it was. Is it Despacito?
Yeah, I remember being in Long Island and going, yes, I'm all about this song. I love it.
Yeah. You gotta keep it going. You gotta keep it happy.
Yeah.
I think now, man, I don't even know.
We can circle back if you want.
Yeah, we'll circle back.
All right. Lee, if you had to pick a song, one song.
Chris, you're not listening to me, are you?
Frank Sinatra.
You're not paying attention.
No, he doesn't listen.
No, I'm just teasing
Like,
you.
do it.
We're just Nat. We know you and I. Yeah, but I would for me Sinatra. I got to play my way. That's Nat's song too, right
I
now.
cry anytime I hear that. I cannot.
I can hear my wife upstairs singing or saying something. I don't know.
Would you? Here's the thing.
I don't know.
Would you have been like an alternating song guy, or would you have stuck with what was working? Because this is what happened to me. This is my problem.
Great question. Yeah, great question. I think. Wow. I think all of us are kind of superstitious.
Incredibly superstitious.
Yeah, aren't we all ball players?
Yep.
Yeah. If I'm in that 0 for 10 or whatever, yeah. I changed my backup song would be Dean Martin for a lot.
Okay.
All right,
So-
how's that?
That's another classic.
So this my
Not entertaining at all.
my story goes. My first year, and I played independent ball for a lot of years before I signed with an organization. So people, they put me on the spot. I'd never thought about a walk-up song. So I went with "Return of the Mac" by Mark Morrison, which is, it's 90s hip hop,
Yeah.
like, probably the greatest one-hit wonder of all time in terms of like mid-level hip hop, right? And I hit really well that year. I had hit 320 or something. And then we were going to pick walk-up songs. I was going to change, and my teammates were like, "You can't change songs."
Oh, right.
320.
Oh,
And I was like, all right, like, you're making me nervous if I don't. So I kept it. I hit 300 again. They're like, "Well, you got to keep it." Like, And then 16 years later, I had never walked out to anything else. So
really?
Yeah.
Really stuck with it. Good for you. I like it. Yeah.
It's catchy. I mean, it's got some, it's an oldie but a goodie, I guess.
Okay, Nat, if you were out there, what would you pick? Oh,
I don't know.
see, put you on.
You know that eye of the tiger, because I have that that
Okay.
passion to make things happen. I got that from my dad and my parents. Just
I like that. That's a good song too.
Lee, this is why I knew you were going to be my favorite guest. You just flipped the script and you became the host, and we were
I
the.
love it.
we
I
were
love
the-
it.
I don't want the job, buddy. It's all yours.
I have one more question for you, obviously, because it was another part of your career before we get to the rapid fire. Obviously, you made the transition to coaching after playing, and as I said before, I think you're still very much, in the eyes of many, well-respected man. I've talked to a lot of Yankees guys. I'm good friends with Aaron Hicks, and they tell me about kind of the presence that you are in Yankees camp, obviously. But what was the transition to coaching like? And I guess in addition to that, some advice for young players today, I guess.
Well, it was something that I always wanted to do, always. And what and who got me back was Joe Torre, because I was out for a few years, and we saw each other, and we kind of just was talking like, "What do you want to do?" And I told him, and he said, "Well, I think there's an opening with the Yankees. It's an A ball." And it was like, you have to pay your dues, and you just don't think you come into the big leagues, so to speak. And that's what I did. I went and I spent 3 years in the minor leagues. And my wife was the one, and in all honesty, pushed me out the door because I was home. LJ was about 6 years old, and Lacey, the twins, was 6, and Jenna, my oldest, was 8. So it was kind of like these kids, they're young, and I don't want to leave for 6 months, So she kind of just pushed me out the door and said, "Listen, this is what you want to do. You got to go see if you like it, see if you want to do this or not." And that's what made me go. To be honest with you, I didn't want to go. And he had a tough time when I left a lot, because I was gone. And I'll tell you a real quick story. And I almost ended my coaching and managerial career in one day. So I was in Tampa, Florida, and we had a Sunday date. I told him before I left for spring training. My wife and I sat down. We tried to make a pact of we wouldn't go more than 3 weeks without seeing the family, having us together. We tried to make that work. And I used to tell LJ, I said, "LJ, don't worry about it. In September, when Pops gets home, I'm going to take you to basketball. I'm going to take you to football. I'm going to take you to school, pick you up every day. You, Lacey, and Jen. If I'm going to be here, Dad's going to be here." But from the girls, we're okay, got along. Although hopefully, I'm thinking, they missed me, but more so with him. And I said to him in September, "Don't worry, I'll be here every day." So anyway, Sunday we have a day game. I fly home, and I surprised my wife. And I get home Sunday night. We had a day off on Monday, so I came home for one day. This was in May. Season just started. So when I come home, I asked my wife, I said, where's the big guy? She said, well, he's sleeping on the side of the bed. So I go upstairs and I wake him up. It's like around 10 o'clock at night, and LJ's sound asleep. And he says, I wake him up and he's kind of groggy, and he looks up and he looks at me. And the first thing out of his mouth was, hey, Dad, is it September already? See what happened? So in his mind, he thought when Dad comes home, it'll be September. And so I kind of like lost that. So I went downstairs to my wife and I said, and this is not going to work, because everything that he was thinking of was Dad's coming home in September, and this is May. I got to go leave. And I told my wife, I said, I don't think it's going to work, So anyway, we worked through that. We got through that. And that was probably the hardest part of being away from the kids.
Sure.
Then I was up in Norwich, Connecticut, which was great. So we got to go back and forth all the time. So that worked out well. So we made it work. But I can say that it was not easy. It was difficult at times. But the girls are great. One's a teacher now. The other one does TV with the Yankees on their broadcasting. Yankees on demand. So my wife did a good job.
It's awesome.
She did good.
Well, Natalie, you can expand upon the thing we talked about in the intro. Now, I have no more questions. I know you're going to want to ask us.
Yes. What was the transition from playing ball, coaching, to being an actor?
Well, I can tell you that's very easy. Although I did take it serious and took classes and stuff. I don't know if you know who Dan Lauria is. It's Nice Paisan from Long Island. Dan Lauria is one of my best friends, and he played the dad on the Wonder Years.
Okay.
Remember the Wonder Years?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Cooper, well, he played the dad, and he's been in song. He did Lombardi on Broadway and stuff. And if you see him, you're gonna say, "Oh, I know who Dan is." And what happened was he wound up daring me into this, and coached me and stuff. And I did it for about 6 months here.
Yeah.
And it was another challenge, Chris. That's what it was. You got a challenge, and you got to work hard. And I really got to appreciate what actors do, what they go through, what they earn, what they can earn and don't earn, and happy with having a job, and it was a great learning experience for me. That's Tony LoBianco, and that's Dan Lauria right there. The great Tony LoBianco. Dan's in the middle.
Two more good paisans right there.
Yeah.
And so it was just it was a great learning experience. It really was. I mean, it was. And then they wanted me to go to California and do stuff, and I went.
No,
I'm not leaving home again. No.
LJ, have you ever seen your dad act?
No.
No, but I got a fun fact. I didn't fall. Apple didn't fall too far from the tree there. In middle school, I was Michael Jackson lead the school play.
No.
In elementary school,
I need our logo to find a picture of of you guys or a clip.
Where's your mom?
I got a picture of that one.
For the rest of time, I'm going to feel let down that I did not have video clips of you two guys performing.
No, not me. Him.
But someone needs to know you as Tony in the wedding.
Somebody would had to have. Somebody took video of a show that was on Broadway, right? Like that had to happen. There had to be.
Oh yeah.
At some point,
let me tell you something. It's a lot of work.
When I come down and play golf,
it's like I said, I have so much respect for the people in that industry and the actors. I mean, you put your time in. It's like baseball. It's not something where you just come in and show up and do it and leave. It's some work.
It's
and
really
went to go on to play in The Sopranos, right, Sharon?
What's that?
Your co-star went to play in Sopranos.
Sharon Angela. Yes. Yeah, she played
Rosalie.
What's that?
Did she play Rosalie in Sopranos?
Yes. Rosalie Aprell, right? Yeah. She was great. And the one that played my dad would play Patsy on The Sopranos as well. He played my Dan Grimaldi. So a lot of them, it's almost like the off-Broadway is kind of like a AAA for a lot of the, it just keeps them working all the time and stuff and just in tune. And my buddy Dan, that's all he does is plays. He just loves it. So I just, you got to respect their craft. They work hard at it. They really do.
They really do. They
You know,
really do.
some do. I mean, the good ones do. Let's put it that way.
LJ, just so you know, I asked you for fun facts before the show, and now you've given me 2 mid-show that I didn't even get to ask you about. So the next time, I'll try to call you earlier.
Yeah.
We'll work through it a little better, and that way. My fun fact about you was going to be when I played against you, you were wearing Jordan 11s, which obviously, like, I know Michael Jordan's watching and Derek Jeter's watching too, so I just my tribute to both of them. That's all the questions I have. Natalie, you good?
I do want to talk about something that is very near and dear to your heart, your foundation for your brother.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yes.
If you can just talk, I mean, I've been very fortunate. I went last year. It's an incredible event. I mean, the support and just people, it was honestly beautiful. One of the better events that I've been to.
Yeah.
Talk to us
Thank
about
you so
that.
much. That's my family photo. That's my
Yeah.
wife in the middle. And that's just my family, my immediate family there. This is in honor of my brother. I lost my brother a few years ago to cancer. And so we set up a foundation, FredLMazzilliFoundation.com, or you can go FredMazzilli.com. And I can't tell you, it's a foundation of love. My wife and I, we lick the envelopes. My wife writes every invitation out. My sister does this, and the kids, they do that. And Lacey does a great job with the video. Everyone is pitching in. So, and our friend Steve Napolitano is our sponsor there. God bless him. He's helped us out. So it's a foundation. It's a labor of love, and I can't tell you the labor of love, but the celebrities that show up. And if you go to the website, you can see them. Like, I'm amazing. Vinny Pastore from The Sopranos. There he is, right there.
Whoa.
Voice.
And that's Sal Valentinetti, the voice. Sal, the voice. God bless him. And Johnny Damon, Ron Guidry, my boy, Johnny Franco, David Cohn. They just come and all they say is, when is it? I don't know. When is it? That's what type of friends I have. They're special. Every one of those are special to me. And Vinny Pastore is just like, he said to me, are we still having our foundation event? It's like ours. It's like this is his. I mean, so for all the people come out, I'm so touched. I mean, I really wish I didn't have this, and I wish my brother was here. We don't have to go through it. But it's for
what? Like you said, it says, alone we bring awareness, and together we change the world.
Yeah,
so
we change one at a time. Yeah, exactly. And so we provide free lung screening tests for people. I can't tell you how a couple we saved and got early testing results that helped them. So this is very special and dear. The Italian Baseball Federation and Joe Quigliano and Carmine were very nice to give to the foundation. I will call upon you, my man, for our next one. Although we are great.
Those are our founders.
Although this year, unfortunately, we will have to postpone. We won't be able to have it in September. But if anyone, people are listening, if you find it in your heart to go to our website, and if you want to donate $10, beautiful. I'm a believer that I don't want someone to give me $1 million check. I want 1 million people to give me $1. Because now you're involved and you're vested in this, and that's the most important thing. So thank you for mentioning that, and we will continue. We will continue to have a labor of love for this. Absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely. What you do for your brother and his memory, and what you do for the IABF, I guess I can formally announce that you are going to be our guest of honor at the Italian American Baseball Foundation.
You know what?
December 3rd. So
let's hope we have this. I'm very honored
for what you do for everyone.
I don't do anything. You say that, and it's really easy. It's not doing anything, but just being around the people you like. And that's what I enjoy. But I'm honored. I thank you for saying that. Joe called me up and asked me, and he was like kind of like a little, shy about it, and he wasn't sure, and I just said, "Well, Joe, why would you run out of people to ask?" Oh, now you're coming to me, Joe.
The first one on our minds.
And I said, that's I'm honored, absolutely, truly honored to be honored by your people is number one, and I'm going to be very grateful.
Yeah, it's going to be an amazing night. You're a part of a great company. You know, Frank Halinato last year, John Franco. I think I was honored last year too.
Yes, some pretty
Brace yourself a little bit.
People save the date for December 3rd.
Yeah, I know Girardi and Bobby V.
Yeah.
And you know what? I forgot to say that also when we're talking about people. And that is another person that was a big influence in my baseball career, Bobby. You know, Bobby and I were roommates together when we played for the Mets. That's when we had to have roommates, believe it or not. And you know, that's my brother. We played golf the other day. We about died in 112 degrees. But,
another golf outing Cece wasn't invited to.
LJ, I think he's making excuses for when he loses. I
didn't lose, my man. I didn't lose. Ask him.
So I have two things for you. This is kind of for you too, Lee. Number one, LJ, there's a thing called the HitTrax Open coming up next month. You and you have to enter it now. You and Alt are entering. I just entered you. I'm registering you. First prize is $10,000. I have to play in it, and I just made a commitment to the fact that if I win, I'm donating the money to charity. My mom battled breast cancer, so if I win, that money is coming directly to the foundation. Number two, I'm in another event. It's called the Expert Summit. It's going to be like this back and forth about baseball guys. If I win that, I already promised the money to charity, so that's coming towards you too. LJ, I now just committed your winnings from the HitTrax Open if you beat me to the foundation. So
so we may win like $20,000 to the foundation. Let's get it up there, right?
I'm super. Yeah, it's $10,000 to win the HitTrax thing at the Expert Summit thing. So if I win,
you guys better practice.
Yeah, I need some swings. LJ, you're gonna want to drive up here. BP.
He's in.
Absolutely.
All right, you and Alt have to come up here so we can get some BP in next week.
Years ago.
Tell Alt to bring some Chandler bats. That way we hit the ball harder. Hey, this was
plug in there.
I have 5 rapid fire questions for both of you. I had 6. One of them's gone.
Wait, are you starting with my favorite?
That was one. I just thought of another one because I ad-libbed another one. So the question, our number one question on Spaghetti and Baseballs is sauce or gravy? What do you got?
Gravy.
LJ, do you have an answer?
I said gravy. Sorry.
You got
first of all, it's generational, so that's not even.
Natalie judges. I mean, I a little bit do, but I'm not going to say it out loud.
I will judge.
But what did you say, Nat?
I told you this really just depends on where you grew up.
It's sauce.
No.
Turkey.
Did you ask your mom and dad that? Was your mom and dad?
Sauce.
No, I'm going to talk.
Sauce.
It just all depends on where you grew up. I'm telling you.
My heart is
now that I know what your favorite Italian dish is, I need to know your favorite non-Italian dish.
Good one.
Salmon.
LJ?
Salmon?
Yeah, I'm not a salmon eater. Mom knows I'm not a big salmon eater.
Wait, you said favorite.
Non-favorite.
No, favorite non-Italian dish.
Oh, favorite non-Italian dish. I don't have one.
It's tough.
Steak.
That's a really good answer.
What is it?
Steak.
Ooh, yeah.
Steak.
Yeah. Wait, how do you like it cooked?
Medium rare.
Oh, thank God. All right. You redeemed yourself.
He likes it like a shoe. He wants it like burnt to where you can
my God. No way.
A knife. It's terrible.
What do you got? You can give me your favorite Italian one too, because you're.
All right, my favorite non is Captain Crunch chicken, potatoes, corn, and applesauce.
Nice. That sounds American.
That's my electric chair meal right there.
Okay. And favorite non-Italian dish?
And my favorite Italian is probably.
Favorite Italian, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's chicken cacciatore and spaghetti too.
Okay.
Spaghetti. Cool. Nothing wrong.
And Ossobuco. I'm pretty. Ossobuco is right up there, buddy.
Yeah. Ossobuco.
I like chicken scarpiello.
My mom made the best gnocchi dish of all time the other day, and I've shared it with like 5 people. And Mom, I love you. I thank you so much. It was incredible. This is rapid fire. We're still on 3.
Yeah, gotta hurry up. I'm getting hungry now.
Next question: Jordan or LeBron? Jordan or LeBron?
Oh, Jordan.
Good job. You guys got that one right. Favorite current hitter in Major League Baseball? Go.
Wow.
Current hitter.
I got to come back to that one.
Okay, we can skip.
I got a couple of ways of looking at that one. I mean, you got to love Trout, but LJ, help me out here. Who's the one we talked about?
For me, for my dad, I think he really likes Harper. He really likes Bryce Harper.
Yeah, I forgot Harper.
Because he doesn't get cheated, and neither does Cody Bellinger. I really like Christian Yelich.
I knew you were going to go with him.
Yeah.
I had this.
Hey, you know what, Chris? You know what? When you put all of them in the same conversation, right? I'll take anyone.
Sure, for sure.
That's, it's like apples and oranges. Just talk about all the great hitters. When they're in the same conversation, you're pretty good.
And the whole argument
right now, though, mark my words. I don't know if it'll be this year or next year, but keep an eye out for Ryan McBroom.
Love Broomy, dude.
Yeah.
I met him in Toronto.
He's like one of my really good friends, and I'm also a huge fan of him. So
I can't wait to text him that after we're done. We talked about him. All right, that's a good answer. I love Ryan McBroom. Love the way he plays. Happy he's going to get an opportunity. LJ, have you been to Italy? I know Lee, you've been to Italy for sure. LJ,
I got engaged in Italy.
All right, yeah.
Ooh.
Natalie, just want to let you know, yes, my wife and I, we got engaged.
You have to tell my future husband that, whoever that is.
I got guys that are gonna. We talked.
Sure.
I got people asking me.
Yeah, I'm sure that Natalie's not short on that list, right?
No, my single friends are all like, "Hey, can
Yeah.
hey, I don't know if we're allowed to
We'll talk after.
So, favorite place to visit in Italy?
I've never been, so I can't answer that.
All right.
Yeah.
Next year. She's
For me, Naples.
Okay, that's where my mom was born, so she loves you even more now.
That's where I was from, Naples and Barry.
No wonder why we get along.
Yeah.
Last question. This is going to be controversial. I don't know if you're allowed to answer it. You can opt out if you want.
Wait, before you say that, back to late. My dad says, "Sorry, gravy's for turkey."
She's younger than I am. That's why.
That's unbelievable. I'm proud of her.
Your dad's younger than me. That's why.
But he loves you both. Classic Italian Americans.
Thank you.
My last slow fire question, because we just broke the record for slowest rapid fire of all time.
Yeah, who cares, right?
I know. The good thing is we're the producers, we're the directors. We do
everything here.
We don't have commercials. We have nothing.
Right.
The last question, and this is the one that, like I said, you can opt out. Yankees or Mets?
I mean,
Yankees or Mets? What?
Yankees or Mets? You have to answer. It's a wrap.
Yeah, right. Yankees.
Okay.
Yankees.
Yeah.
He's got a different answer than me, probably.
Yeah. So how did that happen during the 2000 World Series? You're a
That
coach.
was easy. I was coaching for the Yankees.
Yeah.
I played for the Mets.
You were secretly coaching for the Mets.
What's that?
I really don't know how to answer that.
Yeah.
Because when I was able to go to the Subway Series, so I had dad who was a Met icon and now who's a Yankee coach, and I'm stuck in the middle.
Yeah.
And I got all my friends that are saying, your dad was such a great Met, and my parents love your dad as a Met, blah, blah. And then, I'm like over here with my dad with the Yankees and running around the field with the Yankees. So like I had split.
Yeah.
But I would say Yankees if I had to.
It's funny because obviously you're known for what you play for, but I've been with the Yankees almost 20 years, going on 20 years.
Sure.
Twice as long as that I was employed by the Mets. So I'm a Yankee, man.
I know. I feel, and I honestly, I refer to you as a Yankee in my brain, right? Like that's what makes sense to me. But I feel like you guys, as a family, just the dynamic of your family, the fact that you both played the Mets organization, then you went on to play for the Yankees, coach for the Yankees. It's like, I feel like I don't know another dynamic that has like the split that is a New York family too. So like,
but you know what? Yeah, but you know what? And people ask that question to me all the time. And who you were a fan growing up, watching it. And I was a baseball fan, but
sure.
When I was a kid, I was a Giant fan because I had an uncle that played baseball in the Giant system. But Willie Mays was my idol. And that's another one. I had my idol, Willie Mays. I had pictures on my wall of him and stuff. He turns out to be my coach.
That's awesome.
That is
You
incredible.
kidding me? Willie Mays, the greatest ball player that ever lived, was teaching me outfield, teaching me base running, and all this stuff. And we talk about the 6 degrees of separation. I look at Willie Mays, who's the greatest player in my eyes, but maybe Jackie Robinson taught Willie Mays or said something to Willie Mays. And you go down the line, it's just the knowledge, the wealth of knowledge that you learn from these people. So Willie was like, it's just, he's my man. He's my man.
That's good
I
stuff.
gotta say something on the New York teams. I just have to say that I was able to play with both, and if you look at both major league squads, I played with probably half the roster on both teams. So I have a lot of friends on both teams, and I really like both teams. I'm a fan of all of them. So I wouldn't pick one over the other.
I am. I hope we bury the Mets, but
That's
here's the deal.
a politically correct answer, right?
He did politically correct.
Yeah.
I don't know. He did. That's good for him.
But-
I'm going to tell you what.
Hey, once you have the wisdom, you can do whatever you want. I said once you have the wisdom, you can do whatever you want. You can say and do whatever you want.
I'm not taking the easy way out. No, I'm telling you who's going to win and who's going to be the Yankees. But what I really want to see a Subway Series again.
That'd be awesome.
If possible, got 2 good clubs. I think we have a powerhouse, the Yankees and the Mets. Man, they got good pitching, so it is possible that could be another Subway Series. So
let's do this year. Anything could happen.
You know what? This year, it would be great for baseball. It really would.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Guys, what an honor to have both of you on. Obviously,
we had a lot of fun, man.
And
Although you told me it was only going to be like a 15-minute interview, I'm like, okay, I could do 15 minutes. And,
40% battery.
my wife ran up and got my charger from me.
that was what that little transition was there. I figured that out because
she brought the charger down. I was texting. I said, bring the charger down. I'm going to run out.
Honestly,
good. Thank you.
In one place, so you can't just do 15 minutes. So.
Yeah, not with 5 paisans, no 4 paisans on a logo. We can't do that.
I know, no way.
Hey, honestly, this was a pleasure. I look forward to doing it more. I'm gonna text Alt about the foursome. We'll make sure we get that set up. I look forward to seeing you guys and talking to you again. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for turning in, Natalie. You're awesome as a coach.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, of course you can.
To you as well. Listen. Be safe, use common sense, do the things, put a mask on, wear the gloves, do the things that we need to do. Common sense. That's it. Common sense, and we'll be good. We'll be good. Okay?
That's right.
God bless you both, man. Love you too.
Right back at you. Thank you so much.
That's it.
Alla prossima, ci vediamo.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
Ciao a tutti.
Hey, else, come on downstairs. Let's go.